Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Santa Monica City Council passes a resolution to shut down the airport next year. The International Space Station gets ready to accept manned flights from the United States. The use of ICAO domestic flight plans is delayed. Hello, I'm Christopher C. Odom. It's August 23rd, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. A resolution has been considered by the City of Santa Monica Council that would make it a policy of the city to close the airport to aviation uses as soon as legally permitted, with a goal of ending aviation operations there by 2018. The resolution, in a complex document that reviews the past history of the airport and the original purpose of the land upon which the airport resides, it refers to an original commitment to the FAA to maintain the airport in operation for 30 years as a result of federal money infused into the airport. According to the City Council math, that commitment to support the airport ends in 2018. The Council acknowledges the many legal challenges now pending, but says the city should continue to exercise its authority to enforce its recently adopted leasing policy, which replaces the existing fixed base operations with the exclusive city operations. The Council also says the city should consider removal of the western parcel from aviation use. As ANN reported last week, the FAA has recently advised Santa Monica City management that they are holding the municipality accountable for maintaining the airport until the year 2023. And so the battle continues. Last Friday, Space Station Expedition 48 Commander Jeff Williams and Flight Engineer Kate Rubins concluded their 6-hour spacewalk to install the first of 2 international docking adapters. These adapters will be used for the future arrivals of Boeing and SpaceX Commercial Crew spacecraft, now in development under NASA's Commercial Crew program. When this happens, commercial crew flights and cargo deliveries will be launched from Florida's Space Coast to the International Space Station. This means the U.S. will be back in the business of launching humans into space. Performing a spacewalk is, to say the least, a tricky business. Space station crew members have conducted 194 spacewalks in support of assembly and maintenance of the orbiting laboratory. Spacewalkers have now spent a total of 1,211 hours working outside the station. What used to be science fiction is now simply part of doing business. We at ANN salute them. After the break, domestic ICAO flight plans are being delayed.
Since the early days of powered flight, pilots have struggled with landing in crosswinds. In fact, crosswinds and wind gusts cause more landing accidents than fog, thunderstorms, and icing combined. That's where the Redbird X-Wind SE comes in. By placing pilots in gusty crosswind conditions for extended periods of time, the X-Wind SE gives instructors all the time they need to teach the pilot the proper techniques for landing in crosswind conditions. For more information on Redbird X-Wind SE and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulation.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you'd like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. The way we have been filing domestic flight plans has been around for a long time, but changing to the international ICAO system on the horizon. However, the FAA has again delayed the implementation of the international flight plan from all domestic flights. Barring another postponement, the FAA will eliminate the use of the domestic flight plan format and make the transition to ICAO format in January 2017. The FAA says the use of the one format will simplify the process and align U.S. flight plans with ICAO standards. The ICAO format requires a lot of specific information about the aircraft that will not be used on domestic flight plans, and the FAA has issued informal guidance that highlights changes that pertain exclusively to flights within the U.S. national airspace system. Every Tuesday, we're going to look ahead at some of the more interesting events in the aviation universe. Here's this week's Aero Calendar. You can expect to find corporate gurus in Santa Ana, California on August 26th through the 27th at the California Aircraft Expo and Ownership Conference. California's leading aircraft manufacturers and dealers are working together to sponsor the 7th annual California Aircraft Expo Series, where the latest models of general aviation aircraft will be on display at one venue. Just about every major general aviation aircraft manufacturer will have something to show you. Sticking to the West Coast, but heading north, our next event is the Olympic Peninsula Air Affair that runs on the weekend of August 27th and 28th. It's being held in the Sequim, Washington at the Sequim Valley Airport. The long list of features include a hot air balloon launch, experimental airplanes on display, and radio-controlled airplanes, skydivers, wing walkers, and much, much more. And this year, they introduce helicopter rides. Also in Washington State is the JBLM Air Show and Warrior Expo 2016. It's a 3-day event that starts on August 26 and goes through 28 and is being held at McCord Field. They say it's the leader in air show entertainment, where air show fans can expect the finest in aerial entertainment. This year, they're featuring the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds, the U.S. Army Golden Knights, and the FA-18 Hornet Tactical Demonstration Team, and much, much more. Now, we turn east to Port Clinton, Ohio for the Wings and Warbirds over Port Clinton event. It takes place on the weekend of August 27th and 28th at the Erie Ottawa International Airport. They say this air show is unique because they combine different types of model aircraft and model aircraft pilots with the addition and combination of full-scale aviation wrapped around it. Because of the combination of the aircraft to be seen, they say aviation passions are made from dreams, and dreams start here. After these messages, helicopter avoids collision with a drone.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
The aviation industry is full of news, and we're summarizing a few of those great stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. The pilot of an Austrian medical transport helicopter reported that a UAV flew within about 2 meters of his aircraft at 5,000 feet. According to the report, the pilot was able to take evasive action to prevent a collision. The Aerospace Industries Association met last week with informal advisors from the Clinton campaign. They say their role is to educate elected leaders, candidates for office, and the general public on the importance of the aerospace industry to our economy and national security. The first LM-100J commercial freighter continues to make significant progress, reaching major production milestones at the Lockheed Martin facility in Marietta, Georgia. The LM-100J is the commercial multi-purpose air freighter version of Lockheed Martin's C-130J Super Hercules aircraft. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters has filed a petition with the National Mediation Board to represent 35 Allegiant Air flight dispatchers. If approved, it would be the second time these workers have affiliated with the Teamsters. Marlink and IDG Europe completed trials of the new small track tracking system on a Scandinavian Air Ambulance fixed-wing aircraft and a Scandinavian Medicopter helicopter in Sweden. The portable device provides satellite-based aircraft location tracking as a standalone system. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now, let's get back to the rest of the news. Because you watch our Airborne Unlimited programming, you know this is a dynamic and exciting business. Now, we are expanding and innovating even more, and we're seeking an additional on-air video journalist, maybe more than one, to assist us with our feature and scheduled programming. we have need for an immediate part-time position, which will likely become full-time, and we'll need to add another staffer by the end of the year to meet some exciting upcoming obligations for extended and additional programming initiatives. These are autonomous positions where you must be as comfortable behind the camera as in front of it. In other words, you'll need to be a jack of all trades. You will be responsible for presenting aviation and aerospace related news stories on camera, while often handling all audio, video, and lighting, as well as editing and the final product. There is a lot more to this, so get all the details by dropping a note to Jim at aero-news.net to get the dialogue started. Well, that's our program for today. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily, Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, and do check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Keep flying. We'll see you tomorrow.